Hardcore Henry is a high-octane first-person action/sci-fi film that follows a resurrected dead man by the name of Henry. With the help of an ally, he must figure out his identity, find his wife, and stop Akkad along with his evil corporation making bioengineered soldiers. Okay, where do I start with this film? Oh my god. Let me just say, I don't think I've had this much fun in a film in a very long time. I enjoyed Hardcore Henry a lot. Like, a lot. I thought it was fun, innovative, and overall a great experience. The level of fun I had in that theater watching the film was kind of like being on a roller coaster. That being said, I don't think this is a film for everyone. The way that the film is done, I just don't think everyone will be able to enjoy it. For example, I went to the movies with 4 or 5 buddies, and it was kind of decisive amongst us. For example, me and my buddy really enjoyed the film, whereas my other 2 friends were just kind of like, one slept, and the other one didn't like it all too much. For those who don't know, Ilya Nashler, my bad if I pronounced that wrong, made this entire film in POV. And when I mean like it's in POV, I literally mean the entire film and its 96 runtime is shot in point of view perspective. Wow. Many people might be turned off by that because it's not your traditional movie. That being said, if you saw the trailer for this movie and you really liked it and you're a fan of big action movies, then I think Hardcore Henry is the movie for you. Now I'm gonna go dive into some of the aspects of the film. The story was simple. It wasn't very grand in its storytelling. It was simple and I liked it, and it works for this kind of film. As the title suggests of the film, this is hardcore. It's a brutal, hyper-violent revenge story at its core. This isn't a movie that needs the most layered and extravagant narrative. One thing that I really did like about this story, that it wasn't really marketed all too much, is its sci-fi elements. The main character is a cyborg. The villain has telekinetic powers and there's clones. Those are really awesome things that are all put into this film that I did like. It's kind of a bummer they didn't really dive too deep into those and like find out how these things were created or really a background story on those. This movie knows what it is and what it's supposed to do, and I think it does it well. At its core, it's kind of a gimmick with the whole point of view. This is the kind of film where it feels like a video game a lot of times in it, and I think gamers will love it. Like I've mentioned, guys, this thing was shot entirely in POV, and from a film point, I think this might be the first of its kind. In recent memory, movies like Brothers Grimsby have been incorporating this POV style of action. Do I think it's gonna change film? No. But I do think depending on how audiences react to this, it might result in more spin-offs of this actual franchise or other films getting made with the same kind of POV style. I'd be interested in seeing them. Are they gonna be as good as this? I don't know. I think the director had a lot to do with why this film worked so well, in my opinion. I thoroughly enjoyed the POV. At first, it takes some time to get used to it, but then once the action starts, guys, you feel like you're actually the person, and it's nuts. The amount of people that died in this movie is ridiculous. Like, there's bare bodies. The action scenes in this movie are so gruesome, and I don't even know how someone can die that many ways. Really, I don't. The action in this movie, guys, you think it won't top it, but then it just keeps doing it and then doing it, and it's just like, oh my god, like someone in my theater actually got sick and left because there was just so much death. Performance-wise, guys, hats off to Charlton Copley. He played Jimmy in this movie, and he was awesome. I don't want to spoil his role exactly and what he does, but man, he's just so great. His personality, he's just really great. He's probably my favorite performance in this film, even though there's not really too many. Jimmy and the villain really brought personality and humor aspects to this film, which worked for it. I'm going to talk about some of the things that were okay in the film to me. Villain Akkad and the wife of Henry in this film were the other supporting cast. I thought Akkad was an over-the-top villain and he was kind of corny at times. I will say though, even though I didn't like him all too much, I did hate him just because every time he was like screwing over Henry, I felt like he was screwing me over because I was in the position, you know, the POV. So I got really mad at him. I don't know if it was just me, but when I was watching the film, like, he looked like Jesse Eisenberg and PewDiePie were together, and like that was the villain, pretty much. Haley Bennett plays a wife, and I thought she was meh. Her interactions kind of brought me out of the film, and then I felt like, okay, I'm just watching a cutscene from a video game or something. There was a twist with her that was kind of interesting. She looks like Jennifer Lawrence, yo. I was watching this and I'm like, Hunger Games? Something about this movie is the violence gets bigger and bigger as you go along, but one thing that kind of disappointed me was the way that they were filming it with the POV kind of stayed the same. I wish they could have done something to make that just a bit better and maybe change it up as we go through the film. Here's one of my biggest problems with the movie. It's really disorienting at times, like, really. As I mentioned, there's a ton of action in this movie. Sometimes the sequences, guys, like, you don't even know what's happening, and like, it gets blurry vision. It really is hard to keep up sometimes. It's to the point where you might even get a headache or get sick like some other people did in the theater. Also, I get the whole gimmick of POV and like that's what you're going for this movie, but what happens is the quality of the actual film suffers. There's many points in the film where it actually just looks blurry and it's unfocused, and it wasn't the greatest to see. This is probably because the technology for this kind of movie making isn't really as advanced as a regular way you would shoot a movie. It does affect the movie in the end. It kind of does feel like you're watching a 96-minute long YouTube video. Last thing, the story isn't really explained all too well. What's the deeper reason? Why is he really doing this? I get the point isn't to make a really deep and fleshed out story, but a little more explanation would have been good. I want to know how this dude got awesome powers. Like, show me. Like, I want to see that. But overall guys, I really enjoyed watching Hardcore Henry. It was a fun, crazy, hyper-violent action movie that was filmed entirely in POV, which is really cool, but it might not be for everyone. If you like video games like Call of Duty or things like parkour, I think you're gonna really like this movie. If you're expecting a really thorough story and all that stuff, I think you're gonna be disappointed. I will say though guys, I'll recommend watching this just for the experience of feeling like you're actually in this crazy action film. I'm gonna go ahead and give Hardcore Henry a 7.5 out of 10. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget leave a like and subscribe if you have not already. If you're thinking about seeing the movie or if you've already seen it, leave a comment in the comment section below and I'd love to read what you guys think. Also guys, don't forget at the giveaway you can win one of these pop vinyls. You still have about 2 weeks. All you have to do is comment in the video in the description which pop vinyl you want and you have a chance at getting it. Alright guys, thank you so much, and this is my movie review. I'll be checking out Jungle Book next week. Alright guys, I'll see you next time.